President Donald Trump campaigned on reducing the prices of groceries, but his new order imposing stiff tariffs on imports from Mexico, Canada, and China appear to go against that promise to voters.
U.S. trade partners are already punching back. The higher costs likely to hit American businesses and consumers hard.
Considering that there's a lot of contention in the environment right now, simply because of all this tariff talk. And if you're not paying attention to this, you will be paying a silent tax that you don't realize is actually siphoning your pockets every single day. So pay attention to this, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more.
Eyewitness News reporter Tim Caputo joins us live now with the latest on this escalating trade war. Tim?
Jory, Michelle, the back and forth has already begun, and it won't be long before you start feeling the pinch at not just grocery stores like the one behind me, but potentially hardware stores and even car dealerships. Because between lumber from the north and limes from the south, there's a whole long list of items that soon could cost more because of these tariffs. Well, just as quickly as President Trump announced increased tariffs on imports from Mexico, Canada, and China,
they've treated us very unfairly.
Tonight, there's swift retaliation from both our North American neighbors.
Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods.
The emerging trade war comes after the president signed executive orders hitting Canada and Mexico with 25% tariffs and China with 10% tariffs, blaming them.
Let's just talk about that for a quick second. Let's talk about Canada, since they're front and center. When they talked about lumber, the price of lumber increasing, we're talking about a 25% tariff. That means when they send in lumber into our country, they're going to have to pay 25% more, right? That's going to be a problem. So when we talk about lumber, we're talking about housing. And not only is Canada responsible for a large amount of lumber that comes into the U.S., we're talking dairy, oil. And what does this mean to you? Well, oil, gas production, kerosene, dairy. It may be time to start reducing dairy. I hear there are a lot of health complications behind that as well. So this may be a good opportunity to take a long, strong, hard look at your dairy consumption. And is now the time to start to get rid of that stuff. Let's dive back into it.
And drug trafficking. The president, well aware the cost could fall on average Americans.
There could be some temporary short-term disruption, and people will understand that.
Experts say American families could pay upwards of $800 more this year after companies that are stuck paying the increased tariffs then pass along the costs. There are tens of billions of dollars worth of groceries that come from our neighbors to the north and south. Canada is our biggest importer of grains, livestock and meat, sugar and poultry. Mexico provides the U.S. more fruits and vegetables than any other country. Brandon Parsons, an economics professor at Pepperdine University, says with certain products like avocados, where 90% come from Mexico, Americans will just see higher.
Before this guy even comes on and they continue to talk about avocados, lime, let's talk about some of the real costs it's going to cost real Americans real money. And again, when I start talking about lumber, we're talking about houses. The price of houses is already gouging people, right? Inflation is picking up. Interest rates are picking up. We're no longer in the era of a 2.3% price point on interest on homes. We're now into the 6s and 7s, and now we can start talking about the price of homes starting to increase because of the cost of lumber. So if you're considering buying a house soon, I would revisit that, really dive into Zillow and find something that you really like, because I anticipate here in the next 4 to 6 months, the prices of houses are going to start to increase. Now, how long is that going to last? I don't know. I don't know how long these price wars are going to go on, but they will increase. That's for sure.
In the case of avocado, where there isn't necessarily a whole lot of other countries, to my understanding, that are selling them, it's likely that cost is just going to be added to the consumer.
The same could happen for alcohol, clothes, electronics, and cars. The tariffs on oil and gas could also hike prices at the pump by as much as 70 cents a gallon. Tonight, Canada, matching Trump's tariffs in percentage and scale, will urging Canadians to avoid
70 cents. Do you people understand the price increase? 70 cents per gallon. That's 30 cents away from an additional $1. $1. irrational. This is crazy.
Like the American tariffs, our response will also be far-reaching and include everyday items such as American beer, wine, and bourbon, fruits and fruit juices, including orange juice, along with vegetables, perfume, clothing, and shoes.
President Trump not yet responding to the retaliation, but if the trade war escalates even more, it might just mean more money out of your pocket.
There is an escalation clause, and this escalation clause is saying that, hey, if you guys throw, tariffs back on us, we're just going to increase tariffs. When we have this going back and forth, it just leads to a trade war where everybody's just worse off.
And tonight, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum announcing there will be retaliatory tariffs coming from Mexico, though she didn't provide any specifics. As for those U.S. tariffs for Mexico, Canada, and China, those are set to go into effect on February 4th. We're live.
Put your money off to the side, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a price war. Now, I can tell you this, that countries like Canada need us a whole lot more than we need them. And I believe that they're going to cave in way sooner than we're going to cave in, that's for sure. But again, who's going to pay the price? Well, it's both you and I. So start putting cash to work in terms of investing, because we're going to have to make a little bit more. This is going to pinch everybody's pockets. The question is, for how long?